I turned my WGU BSCS into a DREAM Bioinformatics and Molecular Biology research job. I'm going to talk about some of the principles that I use that I think are applicable to people who are interested in software engineering, data science, other fields beyond bioinformatics. I think the principles will still help. For me, I was very interested in biomedicine and I have long-term aspirations to go further into biomedicine. So I wanted to go into bioinformatics and leverage both my computational knowledge and some of my past biology knowledge. And I'm going to talk about the things I did that you can translate into your position. So one big thing I did, I immediately got involved in computational biology research. I was hoping to get a full-time position even during my WGU degree focused on computational biology research, but I applied to a number of positions and just did not get any interest, unfortunately. However, an opportunity came up for me to volunteer part-time for a computational biology lab and get involved there. And unpaid work is not my favorite thing in the world, but I knew that I just needed some sort of experience and someone who could speak to my ability to be a bioinformatician, computational biologist. And I'm really glad I did that volunteer position because it gave me some tangible skills working with some really smart people. Our lab leader, our PI or principal investigator, basically our boss, was a smart computational biologist from UC Berkeley. So I'm really glad I had good mentorship and a good team to walk me through that. I also created a really cool Python GUI app that translates a few algorithms that we designed for spatial biology into a graphical interface where you can draw carbohydrates, which are basically sugar structures, and automatically calculate their spatial information seamlessly. And that ended up being a big part of the interview I had for my current position. I'll talk about that a little bit later. Another big thing I did was teach biology, which if someone is trying to get into bioinformatics, you do not have to teach biology. But for me, I taught biology for a year and a half, and I was doing that while I was taking my WGU degree. So that ended up being a nice way to show that I have biology interests and knowledge and experience. That also came up during my interview as well. And then another big thing is that I did a National Science Foundation funded research experience for undergraduates during my WGU bachelor's in computer science. One of the really cool things about these programs is that they're only available for current undergraduate students. And even though I was at the time a non-traditional undergraduate, I still was an undergraduate, and anyone taking the BSCS is an undergraduate student. I leveraged that to get into this 3-month, pretty prestigious full-time computer science research experience at a computer science department in Texas. I had a really good experience. I learned a lot, and I was even able to present a poster about my research at a international conference. So that ended up being really good because it showed, hey, I can do computer science research. I love this stuff. I want to do it more. And that's literally only because I was enrolled in WGU. I will say I did have some unfair advantages too that would be hard to replicate for someone else who's just starting out because I had a previous degree in biology. I have worked in biotech before, so I worked at 23andMe previously, and I had done some other things as well. But I will say though, even without those things, I think I still made for a compelling bioinformatician profile with just those things, where getting that computer science, computational biology research experience, and then being involved in biology in some way, showing interest was really helpful. So during my interview for my current position, we talked about my background, my interests, and my interviewer asked me, okay, so you say you have some computational biology experience. What do you want to talk about for that? How can you get into how you have that experience. And for me, instead of saying all these things like, oh, I'm good at Python, I'm good at algorithms, I literally was like, hey, why don't we just look at this app I made? So I literally screen shared my GUI app that I talked about previously about the carbohydrate and the algorithm spatial biology thing. And that was really cool because I literally in a minute walked through my whole app, talked very briefly about my development process, and stressed that I took these algorithms that were just mathematical formulations and then translated them in Python into literally algorithms that enable the user to translate visual information into mathematical information. So it ended up being a really cool way of showing off my skills, because anyone can say anything during an interview like, oh, I'm the best at this, or I'm pretty good at this, but showing something, a deliverable, is really good. And that gets me into some of the broader picture things. Let's say you're less interested in bioinformatics and more interested in software development, or maybe you are interested in bioinformatics, or maybe you're interested in data science or cybersecurity, some other field. What are some of the general principles you can take from my experience as you're translating your WGU degree into a job? Well, some really good things to think about are what things people in your field are looking for and how you can make and create your own experience in that way. So let's say you're interested in software engineering. A lot of software engineer hiring people look for people who have tangible experience developing software. And if you really just can't get paid full-time experience, highly consider getting some part-time or even unpaid experience. I know unpaid experience is not my favorite. Again, it's not the most fun thing. I will say though, I do not regret it for a second being involved in an unpaid volunteer part-time way for computational biology. I did that for about a year and it was 100% worth it. So if you can get involved with a team and do some part-time low pay or even unpaid things, I'm not gonna lie, it can be really good because then you have references. Like for me, I got that boss to write me a reference, and again, this is someone from UC Berkeley, smart, cool guy. So him writing me a letter of recommendation and being a reference was huge. So getting that reference is totally worth it. So again, be involved part-time, consider a low pay position, or even consider an unpaid position. Not the best thing in the world, you don't want to do it forever, but even for a year can be totally worth it. Second principle, seek out opportunities that leverage your current standing as a student. For me, I did the National Science Foundation funded REU program, and you can do those same exact programs. So get involved, try to get one of those positions. They're competitive, but you can do it. I'm happy to answer questions about that. And there are a lot of internships that are only available to undergraduate students, or if you're doing the master's at WGU, there are internships that are only available for master's students. So leverage your student status to get things that are good for you, okay? And then a third principle is to create at least one really good project, something you can show off during an interview where, again, people can say anything like, oh, I'm really good at data science, I'm really good at, algorithms or graphics, or, but it's one thing to say something and it's another thing to show it. So if you have even just one really good project, that's totally worth it. Like for me, I spent several months working on that project and it was totally worth it. I'm really proud of it. And if you have even just one project that's actually genuinely really good, then that's perfect. I will just mention I don't think, or how do I put it, if you do the minimum work on your WGU projects, none of them will be at that level where it's worth showing off. So you can extend one of those projects, but my recommendation is to pick something you're really interested in and something that's really tied to the field that you're really wanting to get into. Again, for me, I'd made a computational biology project in Python. For you, it might be making a back-end server or something, in Java or Python. I'm just spewing words, but basically I'm just trying to say that you want to create a really good project in the field that helps you to be able to speak in your interview about your skills and your interests in that field. So I hope that's helpful. Let me know if you have any questions. You can do it. I'm glad I'm in my dream job now. I love my job. Work hard, but it's worth it. You can too. Let me know if you have questions. Thanks.